Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I'm not sure if it's too early to do this, but I decided to do a Valentine's Day look today. I think I'm gonna blame the stores on that because ever since like the day after Christmas, they've been having Valentine's Day stuff all stocked up in the stores. But anyway, I just been feeling like doing like something rose gold today. Rose gold is actually one of my favorite colors, and I think it's really appropriate for a Valentine's Day. So when I thought about doing a rose gold look, I said, well, maybe let me do something rose gold, but for Valentine's Day. So I tried to do something that was kind of easy, kind of romantic looking, like a little smokiness going on the eye. So this is the look that I came up with. So before we get into the tutorial, if this is your first time here, my name is Sonia. I go by Sister Philly on YouTube. So I really hope that you'll consider subscribing today. I would really appreciate it, and it would really help me out. And of course, for those of you who are already subscribed and you're already supporting my channel, thank y'all so much for your continued support, and thank you so much for coming back today. All right, let's get started. Okay, for the first 20 seconds or so, I was talking and didn't realize I wasn't recording. So I did put some of this on my face. This is the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion. I have that all over. I wanted this to go underneath my foundation today to give my face just a little kind of like glow from within, but also to give me a little boost of hydration because it's very cold outside. So I do already have this on. Next, I'm going to go in with my Fenty foundation. This is the shade 340. I'm going to be mixing 340 and 380 today. I did just use this in my last tutorial. I'm using it again today because this is one of the foundations that I would reach for a look like this. Just because this one will hold up, like if I'm going out somewhere, I feel like this is one of the foundations that'll hold up on my face really well. So I would either go for this one, or I forgot to put some 340 on my face. I would either go for this one or my NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. But I'm also using this today because I am trying to pan it. So I'm trying to use up as much of this one as I can by March 20th. I know I look kind of crazy right now with the foundation all over my face, but just give me a second. So this one and my NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop, they both have like very soft matte finishes. The NYX one is a little more matte, I think, but they're basically the same. But I think they're good options for a Valentine's Day look because you can get a flawless finish with them, but they still look nice and natural on the skin. And also, because this does have a matte finish, I don't put too much of it underneath my eye because my under eye area does get kind of dry. So I don't like to have too many products right in that area that are mattifying. Next, I'm using my everyday under eye concealer. This is the Too Faced Born This Way in the color Mocha. So I am going to put a good amount of this under my eye. And I don't mind packing this product on my under eye area because it has a nice natural finish. I wouldn't consider it like to be like a dewy finish or like a radiant finish, but I do think it has just a nice natural look to it, and it's not drying at all. I'm going to be blending this out with this is actually I think this is considered like a small buffer brush. This is the ColourPop F5 brush. And I like blending this out with this brush because of the size of it. I can get like right up in the corner of my eye. And I'm going to be blending this. I don't know why I started with this eye. I normally start with this one, but I'm going to be blending up in this area to give my face that lifted effect. And I'm also blending it kind of like on the side of my nose. I'm going to take just whatever is left on the brush, and I'm just going to hit my chin and my forehead. So this will barely show up in these areas, but I just feel like whenever I try to highlight these two areas, I feel like I just always put like too much product. So instead of applying more, I'm just going to use like residual product in these areas. Okay, moving on to eyeshadow. I already had my brows done. I used the LA Girl Shady Slim Brow Pencil, and I use the color Blackest Brown, just in case you're wondering. And for my primer and concealer on my lids, toward my brow bone, I have the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is the color Chestnut. And then on my lid, I have the Smashbox Lid Primer in the color Light. So for today's eye look, we're going to start off with the Dose of Colors Blushing Berries palette. And this is what it looks like. I'm going to start off with, I think I'm going to start with this color here. This is called Mixed Berries. So that dark berry color there, I'm going to use that in my crease area. And this is the M506 brush that I'm using. I'm going to stick with this same dark berry color, but I'm going to pick it up on a different brush. This is the M167, so it's just like a more dense brush. And I'm going to pick up that same shade and I'm going to apply it to the outer part of my lid. So you should be able to see that even though it's the same color, it's darker up here than it is blended out, because I'm putting it on with a more densely packed bristled brush, but I'm also just packing it on as opposed to me blending it out. I'm switching over to my Stila Shimmer and Glow liquid eyeshadow. This one is in the color, I think this is called Jezebel. Yeah, this is the color Jezebel. That's what it looks like on the brush. And I'm going to put this on the rest of my lid. I'm going to take off some of this excess product first. And I'm going to wipe that on the rest of my lid. And I'm going to bring it up just a little bit so that you can see it like above my fold. I may have to kind of go back and forth with this a little bit to get it right, but this is like kind of a hard product for me to work with, but I decided to use it today because I do really like it. I think it's the most like pigmented rose gold shadow that I have because it's liquid. And because my lids fold, this shadow will definitely like crease underneath my fold, but everything does that because my eyelids literally like flap over. So there's like no way that I can prevent a shadow from like creasing like in my lid. That's just in my fold rather. That's just not going to happen. So I'm going to take the other side of my M167 brush. I'm just going to wipe off some of this excess shadow, and I'm just going to take the clean side of the brush, and then I'm just going to very lightly pat this on top just to make sure it's like nice and flat on my lid. I'm picking up some more of this berry shade, and I'm going to pick it up on the tip of the brush, my M167. And I'm going to just very lightly go over this area right here just to try and like blend these two colors out just a little bit so that there's not like a harsh stop from one color to the next. I'm going to pick up this shade over here. I'm going to use that to soften out the look at the top and just very lightly go over that berry shade. Now this is my first time using this palette in quite some time, and I feel like it's becoming more difficult to work with. Like I kind of noticed when I was putting on that first berry shade that it seemed a bit more stiff than I recall, and I just thought it was maybe the way that I was, you know, applying the shadow, but I'm noticing the same thing with this one. It just seems like I don't know, like the shadows are just not performing as well as they did like the last time that I used this palette. So it could just be me. Like if you're not familiar with my channel, like if this is your first time here, I am not the best with eyeshadows. It's kind of like a learning process for me. So it could be something that I'm doing, but I just feel like I didn't have this much of a blending issue last time I used this. And I'm not having like a really difficult time. It's just not quite as easy as it was like the first time or the last time that I used this palette. So, okay, so I know a lot of people like to finish off their face and then go back and do their lower lash line. For whatever reason, I like to do mine before I finish the rest of my face. So where's my liner brush? I'm going to take the black shadow in here and I'm going to use that to line the very outer part of my lower lash line. I don't like putting shadow all over my lower lash line because I have a lot of like lines and wrinkles down there, and apparently you're supposed to be able to use a shadow to like hide those. I don't know why that doesn't work on me. I just think it looks better when I don't apply shadow all over because I feel like it doesn't accentuate the wrinkles right here. So I just like putting it like right on the outer part of my lower lash line. Okay, and we're gonna stop right there for the eyes, and I'm gonna move on to the rest of the face. I'm gonna zoom you out just a little bit so you can see my entire face. I'm gonna bronze with the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in 40 Dark. And you guys see me use this in pretty much like every video. This is meant to be a finishing powder, but I like the way it bronzes my skin. So I'm just using like a big fluffy brush on my forehead. I'm going to use the same brush, but I'm just going to squeeze the bristles together so I can hit the cheek area. If you are kind of like going back and forth between contouring and bronzing, I used to contour my face all the time and now I bronze. I just think bronzer looks a bit more natural. Now, just make sure that if you're using a bronzer, you're gonna put it like right above the hollows of your cheek. Don't put the bronzer in the hollow of your cheek. A contour should go right here and a bronzer should go right above the hollows of your cheek. And then I'm also gonna hit my jawline just a little bit. I'm just switching to a smaller brush and I'm gonna apply a little bit of this to my nose also. I'm going to be using my ABH blush kit in Radiant. I'm going to take these two colors over here and mix them together. My everyday blush is the Note Cosmetics one, but I'm using this one because I do feel like it lasts a little bit longer than the Note Cosmetics one. I always feel like I get blush more on one side of the face than the other, and I feel like every time I try to go back and forth to correct it, I like make it worse, but I tried to make it like even on both sides. All right, next we're gonna go in with highlighter, and this is the Physicians Formula Butter Highlighter in the color Rose Gold, of course. This is what it looks like. I can't believe that this is actually gonna be, I think, only my second time using this highlighter because I was just blown away when I first got it and how soft and buttery it is. Like, I can see why they call this a butter highlighter. I think I like rose gold highlighters in general, but I think this one has a very nice like natural highlight color to it, especially for my skin tone. And I think this is one of these highlighters that, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but I feel like no matter how much you put on, you can't put on too much of this because it's just so natural looking. So I'm just putting this on the high points of my cheeks and I'm gonna run the residual down the middle of my nose. And I'm also going to switch over. I'm going to switch over to a fan brush and put some of this under my brow bone. Then I'm going to use yet another brush, and I'm also going to highlight my inner corner with this. I'm setting everything with my Wet n Wild Matte Finish Spray. Okay, so I also put on my eyeliner and mascara. I always do that off camera because it's a long process. I feel like it adds like another like 5-10 minutes to the video. And so I just skip it because I feel like it's just too long. But you can let me know if you want me to start adding that. I can do it on camera and speed through it, but I just skipped through it. So I do have those on already. I'm going to take a little bit more of this first shade that we use, that berry shade. I'm going to pick up the first blending brush that we use, and I'm just going to very lightly apply some of that like right on the outer corner. It's just to really connect like the bottom shadow to the top, just to make it look more cohesive. And for lips, I'm going to start off with the Wet n Wild lip pencil and Chestnut. This is like a burgundy, almost like a brick red, brownish color. And I'm going to line my lips with that. I'm going to take another rose gold highlighter. This is the Maybelline Master Chrome rose gold highlighter. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this on my finger, and I'm going to dab that right in the center of my lips on the top and bottom. And then I'm going to go over everything with my Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb. I'm choosing this for today because it is like a very true like rose gold lip gloss. And this will also help to soften the highlighter that I just put on my lips. Now, if you wanted to go like with a darker, like more bold lip, I think for me, I would probably do like a darker brown lip. So the first thing that's coming to mind for me would be my Too Faced, what is this called? This is called Indecent Proposal. This is like a really rich chocolatey brown color. So I feel like if you wanted something richer on the lips, I would go with something like this. But of course you can, you know, do whatever you want, but I'm thinking if it were me, this is the color that I would go for if I wanted more of a bold lip. All right, I'm gonna put my earrings on. I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, so this is my finished look. This is my rose gold romantic Valentine's Day look. I really hope that you like it. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Please don't forget to connect with me in the comments before you head out today. I would really, really appreciate it. And again, if you're not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing today. And I hope to see y'all back for my next video. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.